It wasn't a work trip. Do you with all of your employers on work trips? I gave you your base rate, and that's all you're getting. Okay, Miss Hills, I'm not even going to go any further with this evidence. I'm going to get to it. I need to hear from you.
Your Honor, this is what Ms. Hill neglected to mention, that we were involved in a relationship.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
You might even say a boyfriend.
Now, you're not married, are you?
No, I'm
You're
divorced.
A single man.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a 7-year-old, Sarah, and she's the light of my life. And
okay, I'm sure. She's adorable.
But she did neglect to say that we are in a relationship for months, in fact.
I was going to ask, how long has this been going on?
Yeah, that was for about 2 months. And
how long has she been your employee?
For 3 months prior to that.
Okay, so about 3. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Pruitt.
So I thought it would be nice if I invited her on the trip. I was going to be working most of the days, and I thought it would be fun for the plaintiff and my daughter to enjoy themselves in Hawaii.
And fun for you, right?
Definitely fun for me.
Thank you. Go ahead. Continue.
Going through a very stressful time at work, and the plaintiff was very reciprocating and keeping me happy.
Okay. Whew. The court needs a pause. Hold on. Okay, now you can continue, Mr. Pruitt.
I would buy the plaintiff gifts, special bracelets.
Was this your girlfriend, sir?
In my opinion, yes.
Are you seeing other women?
No, I was not, Your Honor. I had an incredibly busy job. I would go to work, very, very stressful. I would come home and just put my daughter to bed and do it all over again the next day. So,
how did you invite this woman to come to Hawaii? What was the context? Was she invited to come to work and take care of your 7-year-old daughter, Sarah, the love of your life? Or was she invited to be your generous reciprocator of special time?
Ms. Hills understood that she would be working during the day. However, she would have the additional time off in the evenings.
But was she really off?
She was. I had another day.
You know what I mean? Or was she on?
Well, I had another day, Your Honor, where I set her up for spa treatments, which I thought was very generous.
And did you pay for those?
And I paid for those, and I also upgraded our room. It was a one.
You said hour?
Yes, ma'am.
So y'all shared a room?
Yes.
It's interesting how this guy is trying to do a vacation reframing trick on this nanny. When you take someone on vacation, that means that they are free of their responsibilities. So if she is having to work, watch your child while you're gone, and then try to take care of your needs, then she is essentially doing remote work no matter where it's at. So in this case, in Hawaii. And it sucks for her because she got involved in a relationship with him at all, because in the power dynamic, he has the upper hand. He controls her income, her housing, her job security, which is going to make it far more difficult for her to say no. And while he thinks that she is benefiting from the perks of having that job or going with him, he needed to establish, or they both needed to establish, a contract of what her roles were going to be and the compensation ahead of time, because he's trying to do like a perk instead of pay. And for her, this experience is not going to replace her wages. So when the rent's due, the landlord is still going to want money. She can't pay for it with her trip to Hawaii. This has also led to him expanding her role as a nanny, because at home she was just a nanny, and now she is a travel companion, a nanny, a personal assistant, an emotional partner, and an intimate partner. Now she's stuck in a role that's childcare plus girlfriend duties plus vacation companion, and she's not being compensated for it. And my question for you is, if your boss invited you on this trip and you worked the whole time, would you consider it a vacation? I think we need to hear more of the story, so let's get back.
If you were not having a relationship with Miss Hills and she was just there as your nanny, wouldn't she have had her own room that you would have also paid for because it was a work trip?
Yes, Your Honor. However, due to my work, there is times where I need the plaintiff to be taking care of my daughter, Sarah. And so, yes, she could have her own room, but we'd need to be in the same suite.
Okay. Let's get back to you, Miss Hills. Now, go ahead. What were you trying to tell me earlier?
on this vacation that he labeled as a work trip, he was gone for conferences all day, and I was taking care of his daughter the entire time. And this entire trip was he labeled as a vacation for us and says I am his girlfriend.
So he told you that? He communicated that to you?
No.
Oh.
Never once did he ever mention or bring up the fact of a relationship. I've always seen this as a fun, casual thing and ultimately a job. Now, you know...
Wait a minute now. Hold on. I just want to make sure you meant to say what you said.
Yes.
Now, I know you're talking about taking care of Sarah as a job. That's called nannying. But taking care of Mr. Pruitt, is that a job?
No, that was something on the side.
Okay, so that's not the job, and you don't expect to be paid for that.
No, that was a fun, casual thing,
else.
and I will admit it was a little unprofessional.
Of who?
Of both of us.
Great. Thank you for acknowledging that. Yes, ma'am.
We got ahead of ourselves one night, about 3 months into us working with each other, me seeing his daughter every single day and caring for her. He was super upset, very stressed from the day, and he started to bring himself to tears. And so I put my hand on his shoulder, and I just looked him in the eyes and I said, hey, everything's going to be okay. Like, don't worry about it. And he took that as, all right, this is my opportunity to kiss her.
Your Honor.
And so this is my boss. He's in this position of power, kind of taking me advantage of me, offers me wine and drinks. And so we end up together that night. And I want to keep my job, and so it continues to happen again and again. And honestly, I'm fine with it. It is consensual.
Well, I was going to say, because let me stop you, Ms. Hills, because you need to be very careful. As a young woman in today's society, we live in a Me Too era. Let's be very clear. So when we start kind of threading the needle around positions of power, boss, control, prying me with, you are starting to make an argument, young lady, that this was coercive, that he was infringing upon your boundaries, and then the court has to look at this man almost as a... This is what I need to know about this case, because you're saying that you want $1,600 more, which you're saying you are owed. Let me go through this evidence. I do see where you Venmo'd her $900, and you're saying this is complete payment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on. Let's go through this contract. This is what we need to get to. This says, you, sir, employer, agree to pay her nanny for one child, Sarah, responsibility schedule, 9 to 6 p.m. That's the schedule you agreed to, sir. So anything outside of the hours of 9 to 6 constitutes overtime, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So let's go to overtime. $30 per hour for every hour worked outside of 9 to 6. You agreed to that, sir. Then it says that she shall have $200 a day in addition to the base rate and in addition to overtime for travel. So travel day expense. That's customary, okay? You signed it. You both agree that this contract is binding?
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
great. The court will accept it. Now, these are previous payments, so you pay her consistently for her services. Why, Mr. Pruitt, did you think that this woman would not be owed money for services that included travel? Per her testimony today, she's taking care of your daughter well into the evening, certainly playing with her, and it sounds like y'all having family time. I don't know what we're calling it, but something like that. That would be outside of your agreed upon scope. So why are you not owing her the money?
Your Honor, two reasons. One of them is in the contract, it clearly states if Ms. Hills was dishonest. And she was several times.
Tell me, how?
I felt like I was in a full relationship, that this woman really cared about me, that I was someone special.
Did she tell you that?
In no uncertain terms.
Did she tell you that?
She did mention that she saw I was going through a lot of stress at work and that she was there for me. I took that to believe that we were in a full relationship, and I acted accordingly, Your Honor.
What does that mean?
I think were involved. I think
what
sending her flowers. I bought this dress that she's wearing.
Is that true, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor, that is true.
Okay, it's a nice dress. Okay, let me get to this, Ms. Hills. Were you seeing other men when you were seeing this man?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
What?
Is he, you today years old finding that out?
Your Honor, this is news to me.
This comes back to not making assumptions, because you know what assumptions do. They do what? They make a what out of you and me? And that is exactly what has occurred here for this guy. He made an assumption because she could see he was having a hard time and she wanted to be there for him. There was no clarifying statement where she said, I want us to be exclusive, I want to be your girlfriend. Him gifting her things does not mean that they were in a relationship. I worked as a bartender, and I would have people that would come in all the time, and I would talk to them and be there for them and establish relationships with them, and they bought me things all the time. Did that mean that I was dating them? No. In today's society, this is why it is on you to ask the right questions and be clear with the party that you're wanting to be in a relationship with. It's, are you dating anyone else? Are we exclusive? Does anybody think that you're in a relationship with them? This is a classic example of that. He thinks he's in a relationship with her and she's out here doing her own thing. What does that look like? Are you going to see other people? Would this be an open relationship, or is it going to be monogamous? Him gifting her things and treating her like she's his girlfriend is on him for not asking better questions and getting clear answers, because this sounds more like a situationship. Ultimately, they have both placed each other in a precarious situation. I don't recommend it.
Why would this man think that y'all were in an exclusive, committed relationship, in your estimation?
Your Honor, I believe Will has intense feelings for me, but he never explicitly stated that or asked me what the state of our relationship was.
Okay.
He just assumed that I was his girlfriend by inviting me onto this trip because he saw how much I cared for his daughter, which is my job.
Right.
This is purely a job for me, and it was a fun, unprofessional, I might say, casual fling. But ultimately, I need to pay my bills, and he failed to help me with that and failed to complete my contract.
Okay, sir, I'm gonna get you 1 minute.
Okay.
Ms. Hills, let me help you out, woman to woman. You know how we talked about you sliding down a slippery slope earlier in your framing of the consensual nature of this relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're falling down another one around something that we call in the law. I just got to talk to you plain. Now, I'm not saying that is what you are engaging in, but when you frame it, I need to be paid for my services, which you admittedly are saying include relations, casual relations with a man amongst other men you're involved with, and you expect payment in response to that particular engagement, ma'am, that's called the original profession. Are you familiar with that term?
Your Honor, I am. However, the contract is only outlining my services.
Ma'am,
as a babysitter.
I'm very hooked on phonics, okay? I can read very well. I'm clear about the contract, which only encompasses your nannying.
One is a workplace issue that came from the Me Too movement, and that essentially focused on where a person in power, boss, producer, employer, leverage their power to obtain that type of access. The issue there is coercion, pressure, and not payment as in a transaction. So what the judge is trying to clarify here is if there was a clear transaction to where there was payment for that specific thing, because those are legally and socially treated as two different things. When an employer-employee relationship turns romantic, there are three narratives that can exist at the same time. The first being it's a consensual relationship. The second is power imbalance in workplace. And the third, purely transactional agreement. Courts need to know which framework applies. That's why this gets so messy, because it blurs the lines from determining someone is both your employer and your romantic partner. Where does consent end and where does workplace pressure begin? Let's keep going.
Help you prevent this in the future is you need to bifurcate how you deal with your nannying services and what payment you expect as a result of that work. And you need to not talk about it in the same breath as you speak about your engagement with men and a financial expectation as a result of it. Because, man, when you conflate those, you start to look like a period. Now, I don't think that's what you want this court to believe. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor. I do not want the court to believe that.
Right. So I'm telling you, woman to woman, you need to be very clear with your word choice, ma'am. Because if this was a different judge sitting up here today, one could be confused. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. So I think I might have heard enough. I'm going to let you make one final statement, and you, sir. Go ahead, ma'am. Anything else for the court to consider before I make my judgment?
I would like the court to know that I really cared about my job and cared about Sarah, Will's daughter.
Did you care about this man? Did you care about Will?
Yes, I did. But if it was explicitly stated to me, if we had a conversation about him wanting to go to a serious route with a relationship, I would have terminated my employment with him immediately, because that was never something that we discussed, never something that I wanted. I need to pay my bills.
I'm very clear that you need to pay your bills. Okay, yes. Thank you, Ms. Hills. Okay.
Thank you,
Your Honor. I'm in full agreement that Ms. Hills needs to pay her bills, but I'm also cognizant that I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I would never treat a woman like, as you said, a prostitute.
Sir, nothing about this young lady today. I don't think anybody in this courtroom, including my bailiff, for one reasonable second believes that this woman gave you any indication that you were anything more than a few nights. And I hate if that hurts your feelings. I'm sure that it does. But you need to reel with yourself. You need to realize the reality that this was never your girlfriend. This was never somebody that owed you her time by virtue of a trip to Hawaii. Therefore, let's get to the business, why y'all are really here today. The court finds that you do owe this woman her rate for overtime. The court does find, the court does find that you owe this woman her rate for day travel expenses. The court finds, sir, that you might have even attempted to intentionally conflate the nature of the nannying with the girlfriend to reduce your expenditure and get 2 for 1. And this court will not allow it. Thus, I find in complete favor of the plaintiff. Sir, you owe her full $1,600. That is my ruling.
The lesson here is simple. Don't have relationships with your boss. It is too easy for the lines to get blurred, and the person who has the most power, the employer, is going to benefit the most from it. And it's going to be easier for them to reframe it later. The first best thing to do is not be involved in it at all. The second best thing to do, if you find yourself in that position, is to find another position with another company or somewhere else so that you can keep those lines separate. That way it protects you, and it protects your boss, and it protects your relationship. So if things go downhill, everybody's okay. And if things are great, everybody's okay. So then it works out. Also, in the dating world, make sure that you clarify whether or not you are boyfriend, girlfriend, and not just boyfriend, girlfriend, if you are exclusive and not seeing other people. Let me know what you think.